So on Christmas Eve, my first year in the mission, I had about 7 months in the mission, and we were going to a dinner party. We had been invited to do 2 different dinners, and going to the second one, we were waiting for the member as he was getting everything ready. And he had a dog that was a little bit crazy. He would get riled up and you couldn't settle him back down. So, of course, I started playing with this dog. And as it started getting riled up, I realized that I probably shouldn't have done it. And my companion told me to stop. And, of course, I didn't listen. But it was too late. The dog was riled up and it wasn't going to settle down. So then it started, jumping on us, and we're in white shirts. So we tried to get away a little bit. We walked out to the street, followed us out there, and started chasing me around. But then it got even more riled up and started playfully biting, but biting nonetheless, right? So I, trying to get away, ran around to the opposite side of the car, but it just wouldn't leave me alone. So at this point, I didn't really want to play with it anymore, but it was just too late. So as I start running to get away from this dog, it starts chasing me. So I'm going to the corner, and it's a pretty calm neighborhood, not a lot of traffic in there, so I wasn't too worried about cars or anything like that. But as I'm crossing this street, I look back to see, if the dog is still chasing me, and if I need to keep running. Of course it was. The dog was faster than me, and it's right on my heels. So as I turn around to keep running, and I'm going through the intersection, I look to my right, and there's a taxi coming right at me. And in that split second, I didn't know whether to stop or keep running or jump. So I kept running, and the taxi took out my legs, and I landed on its windshield. And the windshield, luckily in my backpack, took up most of the impact, but the car pushed me up and over it. So next thing I know, I'm upside down in the air. I feel my backpack going up, which it shouldn't be going up, and I realized it was going up because I was upside down. So I'm in the air looking at the ground, and instinct kicked in. I'm not sure whether it was from track or from gymnastics, or some kind of instinct kicked in. I pulled my feet over and landed on my feet, luckily, which I'm not sure how it happened, but it did. I landed on my feet, hit the ground, scraped up my hands, and they started, that was probably the worst part of the injury, was scrapes all over my hands, but no broken bones, no hospital trip. I jumped up thinking, wow, that was cool. I did a backflip through the air. I look over my companion, and his face is a completely different reaction. He was thinking, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen out of you. You could have died. And then I look at the taxi driver, who's thinking, you could have wrecked my car, or I could have killed you. So I think everyone there had a little bit different perspective on the incident. Luckily, nothing major did happen. But from that, I learned that God does protect His missionaries. He protected me in that instance. it could have turned out a lot worse. And then the second lesson I learned from that is listen to your companions when they're telling you to do something or not to do something. That we're really there to protect each other. We're there to help each other out and support. And together we can really accomplish a lot more. I'm grateful that in that instance, nothing major happened to me, even though I know it could have. But I did learn a lot from that. And it doesn't happen every day that you get run over by a taxi, or do a backflip through the air. But when it does, you do learn from it. And I'm grateful that, nothing happened to me.